Pop the champagne bottles, folks, it's E3 season. And after a long year of sitting inside doing nothing, with hardly anything ever happening, it's nice to see a bunch of game companies dumping their information on us all at once again. I mean, sure, it was nice seeing John Cena's beautiful mobile game graphic pecs last year from Nintendo, but I think maybe this year they could one-up themselves a bit. Nintendo's already confirmed their date at E3 for the 15th, on the very last day of the event because they love to keep us waiting. And they promised it would be followed up with a whole 3 hours of Treehouse Live footage as well, so it seems we're in for a stacked card. So without further ado, why don't you and I take a little stroll through my predictions. But first, don't pretend like I don't see you eyeing that subscribe button. I know you want to subscribe, so why don't you do it already? Do it. Press the button. Press the button. Press the button. Hopping right into it, let's talk about the Switch Pro, aka the worst kept secret in Nintendo's history. A recent report from Bloomberg says that the Switch Pro will be launching this year in the fall. And if you tie that with the rumors from the entire past year about the console's existence, it seems pretty likely we'll be hearing about it sooner than E3, possibly any day now. Why sooner than E3? Because if Capcom in their presentation at E3 said Street Fighter 6 is coming out featured on all these platforms and the Nintendo Switch Pro before Nintendo said anything about the Nintendo Switch Pro, that'll look pretty bad on Nintendo for letting this leak early from another company. Oh, what's that? Amazon even threw up a new listing for the new Nintendo Switch Pro? Dang, almost like we're just boredly waiting for you to reveal it already, Nintendo. And please, for the love of God, don't call it the new Nintendo Switch Pro, because that name will age so terribly like all the other new things you've made which aren't new anymore. But speaking of before E3, let's talk about Pokemon. The Pokemon Company has a history of doing their own game announcements separate from Nintendo's, even for E3. It seems pretty likely they'll have something to talk about this year for E3 in another separate presentation, so expect something from them sometime next week or the week after Nintendo's presentation. Like, hey, maybe a worldwide Pokemon Unite release date. That'd be pretty cool. The game just came out of beta like a month or so ago, so please just release it. But even cooler than that, it's possible we see a release date and more gameplay for Pokemon Legends Arceus. Arceus? Arceus. How do you pronounce it again? But yes, show us an update on Pokemon Legends, that word. It looks like a lot of fun, but I'm still not really sure what they're trying to go for with it. I don't think we'll be shown anything of Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl unless they're adding some sort of big improvement from the original game, but hey, I'd be okay with being wrong here. I'm a big Sinnoh guy. But you know what I'd definitely like to see? Pokemon Snap DLC. More areas, more Pokemon, more Bidoof butt. Oh, there's also that Detective Pikachu sequel they announced forever ago with a JPEG. Maybe we could hear something about that finally, I don't know. But let's move away from Pokemon for now and get into Nintendo's actual presentation. Nintendo's got a lot lined up if all the good old leaks and rumors are to be believed, so let's discuss them. No More Heroes 3 and Shin Megami Tensei 5 have both been confirmed for a 2021 release, but we still don't have an actual release date for them. This would be a good spot for them to drop either or both of those, if not just because I think it would be great if we could finally stop talking about Shin Megami Tensei 5, which was announced for the original Switch model. Fun fact. But speaking of games we've talked about for far too long, let's talk about Metroid Prime 4, which has gotten a resurgence in discussion just because Walmart Canada updated the placeholder date for the game that was put up when it was first announced to a different placeholder date. Yay! There are rumors that Metroid Prime 4 could be releasing alongside the Switch Pro, so that would be neat, but I couldn't find much actual evidence of that happening, so don't hold your breath too much. But speaking of games we've talked about for far too long, Bayonetta 3. I don't have anything else to say here. It's a game that will come out at some point, probably.
Why is it when something happens, it is always you three?
Oh, ladies, gentlemen, and folks of other preferred pronouns. It seems like a new segment's appeared. The Leaker Roundup Lightning Round, featuring a dump of information from historically accurate, recently not so accurate leaker, Zippo. In a big post, he revealed the following information, so let's get through it as quickly as we can. A 2D Metroid game was finished development, and Nintendo was just waiting to announce and release it, and they're very happy with it so far. No real information on when it'll be announced or released, but E3 makes sense. A 2D Donkey Kong game is in development from EPD Tokyo, better known as the dudes who made your favorite Mario game. The game will feature a lot of the soul of the Donkey Kong Country games with Diddy, Cranky, and the Kremlins all returning, but it will lose the country name since EPD Tokyo doesn't want to make a sequel to games they didn't make. EA for K. Rool probably making his return finally. A new Fire Emblem game is on the way, to fill the space between 3 houses and whatever the next game is in the Fire Emblem series. It's speculated widely that this will be a remake of Genealogy of the Holy War. Supposedly, it's pretty close to being finished development and thus could have an E3 announcement. Super Mario Party 2 was happening, and that weird online functionality update they threw out a few weeks ago for the first Super Mario Party wasn't as random as it seems. There will be more 99 games because Nintendo was happy with them, but we don't know what games will be featured next. Supposedly, some new Mario Kart will be releasing for the holiday season. It's unknown if it's a full Mario Kart 9, but it'll be something. And that, my lovely audience, concludes this segment of Leaker Roundup Lightning Round. It only took, well, that amount of seconds. I should note though that while Zippo has been an accurate source of information in the past, his credibility has taken a bit of a hit recently. So who knows if any of this will end up being accurate? Only time will tell. But there's still one more thing to bring up regarding Nintendo's presentation, and that's their possible collaboration with Xbox for the fall. We still have no idea what, if anything, this collaboration will end up being, but it seems like good timing that this collaboration will be happening in the fall when the Switch Pro is reportedly launching. While you could say it's Master Chief and Smash, I think it's far more likely that it'll end up being the Xbox Game Pass coming to the Switch Pro, which has been a rumor for a goddamn long time now. Xbox's whole game plan is seemingly switched from solely moving hardware to pushing its crazy successful Game Pass and all the games on it to whoever will buy it. The Game Pass being added to the Switch Pro would be wildly beneficial to both parties, as it allows Xbox to market its subscription-based service to the Japanese market they've always had trouble getting into, while also allowing Nintendo to have a strong lineup of new third-party games hosted on the Game Pass for the Switch Pro. Time will tell if any of this comes to be true, but just remember that the Master Chief Collection coming to the Switch has been talked about for like a full 2 years at this point, so this isn't far-fetched anymore. Also, sorry squids and kids alike, but I don't think we're going to see Splatoon 3 at E3. I think it's a bit too soon. Just be patient for a fall direct. But now we come to what will undoubtedly be the backbone of Nintendo's E3 presentation, The Legend of Zelda. We've talked about a lot of things here, and imagining all of them actually happening seems like a wild, unrealistic pipe dream. But I do think The Legend of Zelda will have a strong showing at E3 because of its 35th anniversary, and all the other Zelda-related things we've yet to hear about. I don't think we'll see too much Skyward Sword, given they've mostly done Twitter reveals for it so far, but it's not necessarily impossible. I think the spotlight will be more so on other games that need information, like Age of Calamity with its DLC. The first wave of the expansion pass will be releasing this month, so it'd be nice to know who will be a part of this expanded roster, and what the rest of this new content will end up looking like. My personal hope for Age of Calamity is that they add the 4 characters that should have been in the base game, but I hope they have more than just them, and we get some actually new characters like Cass, Pikengo, the Bolson crew, or maybe even someone from the original Hyrule Warriors like Linkle or Lana. No matter what we get, we're definitely going to see them talk about it at E3, or I'll eat my hat. Just don't actually hold me to that, please. While I don't think we'll see Skyward Sword HD, I do think we'll see some other HD Zelda remasters show up here, namely Twilight Princess and Wind Waker, which were both given HD re-releases for the Wii U. Bundling these together and releasing them for the Switch seems like an easy way to make some quick cash, because my idiot self will still buy it for a third time. They're 2 of my favorite Zelda games, leave me alone. On the topic of HD re-releases, there's also potential for the Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time 3DS versions to be upscaled for yet another re-release on the Switch. But there's not as much actual evidence to this theory, it's just something I could see them doing, because why wouldn't they? But of course, there's the pièce de résistance, the long-awaited sequel to Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. They really teased us back in the February Direct, stating they didn't have anything to share on it yet. But I think it's about time they did share something on it. It's been a full 2 years since the trailer released at E3 following a bear being put into a kid's party game. And I need my fix, Aonuma. I can only play Breath of the Wild so much before I lose my mind. Luckily, with the Nintendo Switch Pro being revealed any day now, we should hopefully hear about Breath of the Wild 2 soon, as I think it will probably be a flagship game for the console. I don't think the game will be released in 2021, but I do think it's time for them to finally come clean on some sort of information for the sequel to build up the hype for some 2022 release date. And to close this video off, we have the focus of my channel, my love and passion, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate for the Nintendo Switch. We don't know yet what this game has in store for us for the next DLC fighter, but I do believe they will be revealed here. In past E3 presentations, we've gotten multiple fighters revealed at a time at E3. A whole whack of fighters were revealed for Smash 4's base game at an E3, and the year after that, Roy and Ryu were announced for DLC at the same time. For Ultimate, we had Daisy and Ridley show up together alongside the Everyone Is Here trailer, followed the next year by Hero and Banjo for DLC. It's likely that last year, had a certain global pandemic not happened, we'd have gotten that weird duo of Steve and Min Min shown off at E3 as well. So, will we get a double reveal at E3 here for the last two fighters? Honestly, I don't think so. There's only 2 fighters left to be revealed before the 2022 deadline, and while it's entirely possible that they have enough gameplay to show off for both of them, I think it's more likely that they'll save the very last fighter for a fall direct to space things out better. But who will we be getting? It's an excellent question, and always the most fun question to try and answer. And honestly, this time, I have no idea. This pass has been full of surprising whammies. We had an out-of-the-blue, kind of outdated first-party character, followed by one of the biggest icons in all of gaming, followed by the video game villain from a game that already had a fighter in Smash, followed by another kind of outdated first-party. But people got more upset about this one for some reason. I have no idea at all what to expect from the E3 reveal. It could be just about anyone. But I will throw my dart up at the board anyway, just for the hell of it, and say that I think Fortnite's Jonesy will be coming to Smash.
Well, let me get this straight. You think that
Jonesy being in Smash Bros is hype?
I do. And I'm tired of pretending it's not.
Real talk, the cards are kind of stacking up in Jonesy's favor here. Fortnite's cartoony, family-friendly look, minus the guns, would let it fit right into Smash without much issue. But I mean, there's also the fact that it's undoubtedly one of the biggest games of the entire decade. Do you remember back before Minecraft was announced for Smash, how awfully suspicious it was that there was no representation for it in Smash at all? No spirit event, no Mii costume, nothing at all for the highest grossing game of all time. Then, we got a fighter. I'm just saying, Fortnite's in the exact same position here. With how much Nintendo loves to push the Battle Royale, it seems so weird that there's been no representation in Smash yet. A Mii costume or spirit event for Fortnite would be perfect, and yet we've gotten nothing. But while we don't know if Nintendo is actually interested at all in Fortnite being present in Smash, we do know that Epic Games is interested in a piece of Smash being included in Fortnite. As a result of the ongoing court case between Epic Games and Apple, a bunch of information was leaked from Epic regarding its business partners in the gaming industry. One piece of information that leaked here was the crossovers that Fortnite was interested in, one of whom was none other than Smash veteran Samus Aran. Evidence of her inclusion in Fortnite has been mounting for a while now, going as far back as the Game Awards of 2020, where both Kratos and Master Chief, icons of their respective consoles, were dropped into the Battle Royale, leaving just Nintendo out of the fun. Add to this the fact that the next season of Fortnite, which begins next week mind you, seemingly has a space or alien theme to combat this season's primal theme, and then also the fact that Samus may even appear in a Batman Fortnite official DC crossover comic next to Ryu and Chun-Li, and you got some interesting blocks stacked up. That was one hell of a sentence I just said. But what does Samus going into Fortnite have to do with Jonesy being in Smash? Well, other than the obvious fact that Samus being in Fortnite seems way more unlikely than Jonesy being in Smash, considering how much Nintendo doesn't like to share, there's also that it would be an insane crossover event in itself. Sure, Epic and Nintendo could both independently reveal the crossovers on their own if they were happening. But imagine a Smash reveal trailer that doubled up as a Fortnite crossover trailer? There's so much they could do with that by itself, and it would be awesome to see them pull it off for something truly unique. But I should say that despite all this talk of Jonesy and Smash, it's just as likely that I'm wrong here, and we end up getting like Crash or Master Chief like everyone else is saying. Please, for the love of God, let it be Master Chief. Honestly, I have no idea at all who could be next on the card for Smash. So I'm not here so much saying this is 100% my prediction, Jonesy will be in Smash, as I am saying that if you put a gun to my head and asked me to predict anyone, I'd have to say Jonesy. But only time will tell. But what do you think? Do you think we'll see some Breath of the Wild 2 info? Do you think Jonesy will be in Smash? Do you think Hideki Kamiya will finally unblock me on Twitter and let me ask about Bayonetta 3? Let me know down in the comments below, and as ever, make sure to like the video if you liked it, and gently chastise the subscribe button for getting an F on the test it should have been studying for. And also hit the bell icon, just for good measure. That's all for now. I'm Mr. Generic, and I'll catch you later.